Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Italian tier 10 tech tree heavy tank, the Rinoceronte. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Rhino! Well, I'll be calling it the Rhino. There is now another game, or should I say another tank in the game called the Rhino, which is a mercenary tier 8 heavy tank. But I will stick with calling the Rinoceronte the Rhino because, well, it's easier. And yeah, the Rhino, it is a 3-shot auto-reloading heavy tank. This tank got buffed a wee while ago, so they ended up buffing all the reloads and making it better. But in terms of that, they actually nerfed some of the gun handling, because this gun used to be really accurate, but then you had a really horrendous reload on this tank. And then they did buff it up, which made it far more playable. And to be honest, I didn't mind the Rhino that badly before the changes. It wasn't a good tank, the reload was too horrific, but after, the reload's really quite decent for this tank for 490 alpha, and if you can put up with the gun accuracy, it's not too bad. And I don't mind this tank at all. I really do enjoy playing it. I enjoy the flexibility of the auto-reloader, I don't mind the reload as much, and I feel like I can have a really good time in it. Is it as good as some of the other tanks that are at tier 10, like the VZ55 or even E5s, Super Conquerors, etc.? No, but it's different, and it's definitely enjoyable for that difference. So the Rinoceronte has got 390 meters of view range, I could get up to 464 meters of view range with the build that I've got, which is decent enough to spot for myself. You've got 268 penetration on the APCR rounds, which is solid. 325 pen on the heat rounds, though, to be honest, you don't often get chance to use the heat rounds unless you start running out of APCR rounds, purely because you don't want to have to suffer the reload, because even though the reloads have been buffed, it's still long if you need to reload the whole clip, and thus you don't often load the heat rounds that much. You've got 0.36 base accuracy, which is getting onto the derpier end of accuracy, and it's just something that you've got to put up with, that sometimes these shots do derp into the floor. You've got 2.5 second aim time, which is a little bit long. And add to that, you've got 0.66 accuracy during rotation, which is fantastic, but on the move accuracy is 2.4, which is a bit and that means that the gun does bloom up a fair bit after you've been on the move. The standard APCR, by the way, has 1,452 meters a second shell velocity, which is absolutely beautiful, and it really travels. You don't have to lead that much to be able to hit the target, which is also something that's always been beautiful about the Rinoceronte. And yeah, you've got 490 damage. You got 40 km/h top speed, which you do hit. You've got 15.65 horsepower per ton ratio, so yes, you do hit that 40 km/h top speed, which is quite nice about the tank. And then you've got 10 degrees of gun depression, which is also pretty fabulous, if we're honest. That means that you can go hull down on quite a few ridge lines and have quite a bit of fun with the enemy team. The one thing that I wish was slightly better on the Rhino is the turret armor, because the turret armor is the type of armor that will bounce a fair few standard rounds, but as soon as people start to fire premium at your turret, they go straight through it, even when you hull down, which is a little bit sad. And it's really annoying as well that the fact that your ammo racks are in the turret, so if they do fire premium and go through that turret front, they end up just ammo racking you, which is exceptionally painful on this auto reloader, which, yeah, it can be pretty damn annoying. You do have a 4-second intra-clip reload on this tank as well, which is a little bit slow, which is what adds to the reload, because, I mean, you're seeing it's about a 10-second reload, because you've got to count, you're seeing, obviously, it says 6 seconds for your best reload, but then you've got to count the 4-second intra-clip as well, so, what, that's 9.9 seconds on what we've just seen, which is not, again, for a tank at tier 10, isn't that bad for saying you have the capacity to drop in a 1500 clip. It just means you've got that flexibility. The reload doesn't feel like you're twiddling your thumbs anymore, because it used to be like 4 or 5 seconds worse than that, and that was awful. But now you feel like you can compete with the reload stakes, and then obviously when you get someone into a point where you can kill them, you can go full auto-loader on their ass and just get rid of them, which is definitely a really glorious thing. It's the reason I like the auto-reloading system, is having that flexibility to do stuff just like that. But you do have to have patience with it, because you don't just automatically want to dump the clip in the auto-reloader every single time you see a chance to do it. You don't want to do that, because you want to hold on to your best DPM as much as you can. But if you get the opportunity to go 1-2 and kill someone, you definitely want to do it. So, what do I run in terms of a crew on the old Rinoceronte? Well, on the Rhino, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Track Mechanic, and Rapid Aim. Rapid Aim to make the turret traverse better so that I can keep up with the tracks, because the turret traverse is slower than the tracks. And with the Rapid Aim, I can get it up to about 29 degrees a second, which is still slower than the tracks, but it nearly keeps up with it. All 3 gun perks, because like I say, this gun is a little bit derpy, so I do want to help it out as much as I can. And then Track Mechanics, I'm a heavy tank, I do like to get stuck in and be a bit brawly, so I want to make sure I can get the tracks back on if I get tracked. And then in terms of equipment, I run the Advanced Loader, the Gun Stabilizer, and Vents. I run the Advanced Loader, because naturally, you want to make sure that this reload is as good as possible, because otherwise it'll be pretty slow. You want to run the Gun Stabilizer so that this gun is ready to go, because as well as that, because you do have a longer reload than most of the tanks, you want to be able to make sure that you're going to be hitting those shots, because missed shots are incredibly frustrating in a tank like this. And then the Vents, because I want to make everything in this tank better, and I want to maximize how quick the reload is on the Rinoceronte, and that's the reason I take the Vents. You could take Optics if you want to get your view range up really, really high, but 464 meters view range is pretty good, and to be honest, I feel like I get more out of making the reload better, because it's, you know, a fairly slow reload, and having that reload as high as I can get it is really, really helpful for the Rhino, and it helps claw back some of what I've lost compared to some of the other tanks in the Tier 10. So we're on the first game, and the first game we are on this map, which is Kaunas. We've managed to get 3.9k damage so far, 2.2k assist, and that's just where the gun, being a bit derpy every now and then, decided to haunt us. We went for the killing shot there. We went to fire the second shot in the clip to kill that light tank, and sadly, it just decided to hit the floor, because screw-you is what the gun said. So sadly, we didn't get to finish off that light tank, but we're up to a decent amount of damage so far, and we're going to go change up the angle. What I'm going to do is now go and try and defend our base, because there's 1 light tank and 1 artillery defending the base against tanks that are going to be coming out of the town, because there was the Bayer that was clearly spotted in the town. The light tank gets shut down. We knew there was something at D1, but there's still a heavy tank that is unaccounted for. So what we're going to do is go see if we can get rid of this Bayer, go defend the cap, and there we go. There's the heavy tank that was unaccounted for. It's a VKB. We get a shot into him on the move, and again, I don't want to blow the load too quickly yet, but actually, he's now a one-shot, so we're just going to aim for the shot into his drive wheel, wait for the reload, and, well, what happened there is I was going to go round and kill it, but he wasn't giving me the shot I truly wanted. So I decided, okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm only 3 seconds away from my reload. I may as well wait for it, get the full DPM back in again, and then I can just double tap the VKB, and that's exactly what we did. And now there's only 1 tank left. Well, 2 tanks left on the enemy team. There's 1 tank and 1 artillery, so technically there is only 1 tank left. There is the artillery, which is knocking around somewhere, and the medium tank that was spotted at C1. And in fact, the artillery is also spotted up there as well. The T92 gets shut down by the T100 LT, so now we're just going to motor as fast as we can. You can see we do hit that 40 km/h top speed, generally between the 38 to 40 km/h mark, and we are just going to get ourselves motoring over towards this medium tank in the hope that we can possibly get some damage, because it is the Projecto 65 that we were trying to shoot earlier on. And hopefully we can get there. But, well, you know, actually the light tank's gone in on him. And he's got shut down, which means that Projecto 65 is alone. There's a TD at A3 that could get after him. The heavy tank's joining us over here, which looks like an E75 or a Type 2, one of the two. I think it's an E75. The artillery is the only one that could realistically damage him. But we do have to be careful, because this Projecto, if he's got a good enough clip in him, could actually clip us out. So we do have to be very, very careful, but because we're fully loaded as well, we can also clip him out. But because we've got a 4-second intro clip, we reload, or should I say, we dump our clip far, far slower than him, so it's just a toss-up as to who gets the first shot off. But we do get a nice shot into the back end of that Projecto 65. Because he took a shot in the back, he just decided to drive straight out in front of the E3, and thus he got shut down. And we finished the game with 3 kills, 5.6k damage, nearly 3k assistance, Ace Tanker, the Steel Wall, the High Caliber, 1594 base XP, a pretty decent game there for the Tier 10 Italian auto-reloading heavy tank, the Rinoceronte, which was what, like, nearly 9k combined. Pretty decent game there for that tank. And we're on to the second replay. The second replay, we're over here on this map, which is Dragon's Ridge. And on Dragon's Ridge from this spawn, what I want to do is go over to E4, try and sit on the little ledge, and therefore I can try and shoot people that do cross the B line and try and go up the 1 line. And I can try and cut off any of their attacking team's threat down that side. Now, Dragon's Ridge is one of those maps that I do not like. It's just... There's too many positions on this map that you can't really do much about, and that is mostly from the northern team's spawn. This spawn is definitely one that I go, yes, I've got this spawn, because I prefer it, because there is so many ways that I can counter the enemy team from this spawn. Their spawn has to contend with our terrible position that we've got at J6, which you basically can't spot unless you YOLO it, or you cut all the way around the 0 line and up the K line to then go spot it and get it safe yourself. And most of the time it leads to, if you want to try and spot it, you end up losing all of your hit points. You can't push the guys that do camp at G7, sorry, because they're sat back there. And then there's a whole back line along the K line and along the J line that people can hide behind bushes and stuff as well, that keeps them hidden and makes it so that you can't really deal with them that effectively either, which just makes it a royal pain to attack from the northern spawn. This spawn, though, gets little positions like this, which are perfect for cutting off flanks, and then they've not got really many positions except for one at A5 that can get you back sitting in this position. So this spawn is always the more preferable spawn, but I do not like this map. It's really unbalanced, and it's just one that I don't really enjoy at all playing. It's one of those that I go, oh, God, I got Dragon's Ridge every single time. But I digress. This second replay so far started quite well, and I did the thing that I said to you earlier on, try not to do as much. I dumped the clip. But we dumped the clip because we wanted to get rid of the TVP. We managed to deal 1,442 damage into him, and our light tank managed to shut him down. And it got rid of what seemed to be the only threat on that flank. And we knew, yet again, we would have time to get the reload in. So we get one shot into the side of the 705A. I was debating on getting the second shot in if I got the time, because once again, I could pull back behind the ridgeline, get safe and be fine. The 705A decides to drive out and give us a shot into his drive wheel, but sadly, with that tracking shot, it didn't also pen. I fully expected to pen that guy as well. A lot of their heavy tanks are in this middle area, so this is going to get a bit brawly. But what we're going to do is try and pressure up that 705A. But we actually find a shot into the 50 TP. I'm thinking, do I dump? Yeah, go on then. We'll put 2 shots in. We put the second shot into that guy because I thought, well, again, I can get back behind the ridgeline, get safe, and reload. And to be honest, half the time, I don't mind double tapping in this tank, dropping one shot then another, because I don't feel too horrific in my reload. It is still bad, but I still don't feel too horrific in my reload, unlike dropping that third and final shell. If you drop that third shell, yeah, your reload is truly awful, and it becomes an absolute pain. But you want to stick to firing single shot if you can, generally, in the auto reloaders, because that's where you'll have the best amount of time with it. So you can see there, I could have double tapped. I could have double tapped, I could have triple tapped. I could have gone after that T58 heavy, but I didn't. We put one shot into the 705A. He's tracked in an awkward position, so I decided, you know what? Screw you, 705A. I'm putting all 3 shots into you. There's the heavy tank on my right that could kill you, and thus he did. Because I knew, again, I had support. I had people that could shoot him, so I knew I could pull back again, have the time to reload, and while he was tracked there and pinned, my friends could go and finish it off. But now we're being attacked by a T58 Heavy. I decide, okay, T58 Heavy, I've got friends again. You're going to pay for that one shot of damage you've just put into me. Good night, sir. Again, I knew I had the 2 guys at G7 who should have been able to shoot him, which they did. I had also had the Panzer 7. I was not letting that T58 get away with that sillily aggressive play. I wasn't taking that 750 damage lightly. And we managed to get rid of that Tier 10 American Premium Heavy Tank. Obviously, it's always best to try and avoid firing when you're on that 1 shell left in the clip, but sometimes you can't avoid it, and that was the best thing to do to get rid of that Tier 10 American, was just to fire the shell, track him in place. It wasn't worth just going for the penetration. We had to make sure that it was going to get him killed, and that's what we did. So now we're fully loaded again, and we're going to go help this Panzer 7 out against this IS-7. So we're going to push after this guy, get around the corner if we can. We're going to be careful, though, because we don't know if there's any TDs sat back along the A-line. We get spotted. We're just looking for the drive wheel shot into the IS-7, which we get. I was thinking, once again, you know what? I can clip this guy if I get the chance, but he's managed to get himself back into a safe position. So we're just going to wait on the reload. There's a Turan that's got spotted. And it's like, were you there the whole time, Mr. Turan? And oh boy, he got 4,005. Wow, there goes all of that guy's hit points. And we got a bit of assistance for that, I think, as well. There's an E5 down below. There's 3 tanks left on the enemy team, bar the E5. And I'm thinking, do I go after this E5? No, you know what? He's probably going to be dead by the time I get there, because most of my team is going after him, and I checked to see what was alive, and I thought, yeah, there was something spotted where that guy's pinged at D0. Okay, we're going to push aggressively down towards the D0 area and see if we can spot that tank up, because again, we might get some assistance and we might be able to get some damage ahead of my team. There it is, it's a TD, it's the WZ-113 GFT. He gets, oh my lord, absolutely eviscerated, and good night, Mr. Chinese tier 10 TD. There's 2 tanks left now. There's the heavy tank, the light tank, which is a 50 TP and a Manticore. The 50 TP, I think, was that possibly the one that I was shooting at earlier on that was in the middle? So if he was the one that was in the middle, he could be anywhere along the 1 line, probably 2 line maybe, or somewhere hiding in the middle. But I've been through the middle area, so he's not there anymore. So I assume what he did was pull back and go along that way. And in fact, we find him. Luckily, we find him there. And it's like, good night, Mr. 50 TP. Now there's only 1 tank left on the enemy team. It is a Manticore who could realistically be absolutely anywhere, because he's a Manticore, and Dragon's Ridge is one of those maps that has about 100 billion nooks and crannies. He could be at a 8-9, which is where people do like to go sit when they want to hide, or it's, you know, it's the piggy pen, it's where the piggies tend to be. Or he could be somewhere along the JK line towards our base. And you know what, with the mobility of the Manticore, that's what I gambled on. So what we're going to do is we're going to plow over this way to see if we can find that Manticore hiding away somewhere, and therefore we have been spotted. And it's like, go on then, shoot me, get spotted. Well, he didn't get spotted, but he has told us exactly where he is, and we're still detecting him like, come on, Manticore, do it again. I should spot you right now. I'm getting closer. I should spot you. There he is. He's in that stupid spot. We try and get the snap shot into the Manticore, and sadly, we missed it. That's one of those spots that's, again, really stupid on this map, because you have to do what I just did to be able to spot them. You have to YOLO to try and find them, and once they're fired, that's when it gives you the opportunity to actually be able to shoot them. But depending on what the tank is, obviously it could be any sort of tank destroyer, it could end up just wrecking your day. So, unfortunately for me, we don't get any more shots at the Manticore. He ended up dropping off, so I could have, if I was paying attention, got some shots into him, but I didn't. We finished with the victory. The top of the team, 1 kill, 6.9k damage, 2.5k assistance, so again, like 7 to 8k combined. Ace Tanker, the High Caliber, the Sniper Medal, 1614 base XP, a pretty decent game again for the Rinoceronte, which is a tank that I do very much enjoy playing. It's different. The reload is definitely slower than most of the other tier 10 heavy tanks, but these days, after the buffs they gave it a year or so ago, it's definitely far more usable than it used to be. And I feel like it's fairly enjoyable myself. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success.